Hi, thank you all for joining us. We're going to start very shortly at about 7 p.m. That's like 3 minutes time. If you are settling down with your dinner, just sit back and relax. We're going to start very shortly. Let's just give some a little bit more time for friends to join us. I hope you'll enjoy today's session, which essentially covers Q1 market insights on the US stocks, Forex, and gold. Our speaker is none other than Ming Lam from Trading Central. If you've been following our webinars, you do know that he's a regular presenter. He's very good with the outlook, and he covers and gives traders uh, up-to-date preview of current trends and things that maybe you wanna keep a close watch on. All right, we'll be starting very shortly, so sit back and relax. All right, thank you all for joining us. We're going to kick things off right now. Let me just give you an overview of what we're going to cover today. We're going to be covering record highs and market shifts for Q1 US market insights. We're going to be covering stocks, FX, and gold. And if you don't know me, I'm Sri from Phillip Nova. I'm going to be your facilitator of the day. In the studio, we're going to have Ming Lam, who's the deputy head of research for Trading Central, and he'll be joined by his colleague Rebecca, who'll be walking you through the Trading Central platform. All right. Today we'll be covering U.S. stocks, FX, and gold. As we know, with 2026 unfolding, and major US stock indices, at least in the weeks before, they have continued to reach record milestones, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average has been surpassing 50,000. S&P was approaching the 7,000 level. And while the headline indices remain resilient, underlying market dynamics are evolving. And with technology stocks showing signs of consolidation and small cap stocks demonstrating relative outperformance, um, what's in store in the weeks to come. At the same time, we have shifting geopolitical developments, including changing global economic influences centered around the United States and Japan's political landscape following the landslide victory for Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's ruling party. This is continuing to shape investor sentiment and global capital flows. So with the markets, teasing record highs not too long ago, and while leadership and macro drivers evolve, how should investors interpret these market shifts and position themselves moving forward? So in this webinar, we'll review key developments from the first quarter of 2026 and share observations on emerging market trends that you need to keep an eye on. All right, the session will also examine movements in the US equity market influence broader financial markets, including foreign exchange and gold, which many of traders are interested in. And this webinar will provide a comprehensive view of cross asset market opportunities for you. All right. So in summary, The webinar outline will be the Q1 US stock market performance, market driving forces and geopolitical developments, US technology and AI stocks, which is still very popular amongst traders, and small cap stocks. Are there opportunities in small caps? Do we see signs of strength? And also cross market perspectives on Forex and gold. Okay, before I hand the time over to the main man, Ming Lam, to walk us through his market insights, I'm going to hand the time over to Rebecca. Rebecca is going to tell you about the Trading Central tools you have access to as a client of Phillip Nova, and she'll give you an overview of the tools you can access as well as what they can do. Rebecca, if you're all set to go, I'm going to give you presenter rights right now.
Thank you, Sri, for introducing. So welcome to the Phillip Nova webinars with Trading Central. This is Rebecca, and today I would like to take this opportunity to briefly introduce Trading Central and show you where you can find a product with Phillip Nova and how to use them. Trading Central was founded by a team of experienced analysts in 1999 in Paris, and now we have a team and a license globally, including STA, CMT, and Hong Kong SEC. We are specialized in technical analysis. Technical analysis believe that price can reflect the information from the market, and by studying the price, we can predict the direction of the market before the news. Now, the Trading Central Indicator plugin is designed to help the trader make profitable decision 24/5. And Trading Central is a unique indicator which allows traders to see Trading Central's levels and strategies directly on the live chart. If you go to Phillip Nova website, and if you click on Phillip MetaTrader 5 Suite, you can see this page, and at the bottom you can actually find TC, which is Trading Central's indicator here. Once you click download, you can then proceed with downloading the indicators. After installing and just clicking through next, where you should be able to find Phillip Nova's with Trading Central on the left hand side on your navigation bar. Now you can then drag and drop the analyst views onto the right hand side, where you will be able to find our analyst views directly on the graph. You can also see that when this has been updated on the bottom part, and if it's declining, as you can see for Australian dollar and Canadian dollar right now, the target price will be S1 and S2, which is 0.9526 and 0.9509. The pivot point is where you analyst thinks that once the price is being hit, it means that the entire environment has been changed, and thus this might be able to seen as a stop loss price, and out in alpha is the price once pivot point is being arrived with the price. We can also look at candlestick, and if you just again drag and drop or double click on the candlestick, we will be able to see the 16 candlestick patterns that we already helped you to identify on your platform. With the blue one is or the one that's below your bar means that it's a bullish trend, whereas if it's on top or in red, it means it's a bearish. Now, let's say if I'm more a MACD person, I can always look into ADC. Now, I will need to remove the candlestick because it's easier to look at later. And I will just drag and drop and click on OK in order to see the entire screen of ADC. Now, ADCs gives you an overview of when is a good time to enter the market or exit the market, and if that's a short positions or long positions, and one is being loaded, you'll be able to see the arrows and exit point as well. You can always hover your mouse and understand more on where is the indicators. On the other hand, for Trading Central, we do have expert advisors. Now, if you scroll down a little bit to expert advisors and go to Trading Central, once you double click, you'll be able to see this window that's being loaded. There will be 3 products included in here. I recommend that we can look at Market Buzz first, which means that it's an AI product that actually screens through all the news that you can find, and saying what's happening there, what's the sentiment, how does it look like. For example, I'll look into Apple. You can always change, the country and everything, or go to currencies, but I'll just go to one of the stocks. Let's say I'm more interested in Apple, what's happening there. And I can see it's not buzzing. What's the news? What's happening? There's a product release, and it seems like a good one to look at. Now I can also look into economic insight. Let's say I'm more a calendar person. I want to know what's happening economically with the events. I can then look into on the charts. I can actually screen through the importance. I can look at, okay, what is the manufacturing PMI or any other events that I'm more interested at. I can look into the chart if the actual the forecast is matching. And most importantly, because Trading Central is an analytic firm, we try to analyzing the events where we can see with the past events what's happening with the price. And that's very important for us to determine what's happened next. For example, if we can look at this event, it automatically look at the most important forex pair that you might be affecting. We can then see what's happening there. Historically, 5 minutes, we can see the 58% ended in bearish, and the average range pips is actually 6.07. And then we can look at, for example, 30 minutes, it's actually 58% ended in bullish, whereas the pips is around 16.41. So it's very directional, and can then see if I'm more interested in trading about this event, how should I trade, when should I exit, what is the volatility I should be looking at. And we can also look at the impact of each of the events, and we can study, again, about what's happening on the individual events. Now I'm just going to close it because that's a quick introduction on economic insight. I can also look into Forex feature idea, which gives you 10 ideas that can help you to guide through if you are still looking for opportunity. You can actually, include the currency pairs. For example, you can click on USD and, for example, the other Forex pairs. So I'm just going to leave it open. You can check what's the bar sizes, what's the holding time frame we should be looking at. And I would always recommend you to select classical patterns in here and some other technicals that you might find interesting. Once you complete, you can click on done to see what's happening there. Now I'll be able to find 10 ideas based on my settings. I can see a flag here. I can see there's a target because only classical patterns will give you a target price. It's very easy to understand. It's very straightforward. We're able to find different patterns on different timing, on a different kind of minutes bar chart. And we can see that there's a target price for up to 12 hours. Once it's being hit, found, and there's a range of 59.66 to 59.7. So it's very straightforward. We can always put it into watch list if we click on this watch button and check on it after. And it's very straightforward. I always recommend you to look into it because classical patterns is very strong reversal pattern. So once we find any pattern, it normally reflects that there might be a trend change very soon. So this is a quick introduction of what Trading Central can help you. We want to help you with your trading, and hopefully with these powerful tools, it can help you with profitable trading. And that's all for my introduction. Thank you, Sui.
All right, thank you so much, Rebecca. Rebecca is going to be here, so if you have any questions about the tools, you please type them into the chat box. If actually the question box will be better. If you can navigate to your control panel, just hit to the question box. Type yes if you can hear me loud and clear before I hand the time over to Ming Lam, please. All right, question box. Type yes if you can hear me loud and clear. Okay, I'm just gonna give sharing rights to Ming Lam so you can set up.
Okay, thank you, Sri of Philip Dover, and also thank you, my colleague Rebecca, for doing the introduction. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are, ladies and gentlemen. And Welcome back to our webinar with Trading Central and Philip Nova. So we last met in December. I think our English webinar. The last one was in December, and in fact, I did one in Chinese webinar in February also. And well, you know what? For these several months, from December up to now, we have seen a lot of things in the market. And I'm excited today to share with you our observation, market observation. And also, we are talking more about the US stocks. And you know, for the past few days, something very exciting and interesting happened in the market, and I will be also inclined discuss it more. Okay, so I know your time is valuable, so I will be very concise and to the point. Okay, so today let me have 30 minutes of your time. Okay, and I will give you all the stuff we have prepared for you. Okay, and as of course I know that you are very keen on knowing what stocks, U.S. stocks, we we analysts are looking at, right? No problem. Give me 30 minutes. Okay, let's start. So you can see it is my style to give you the conclusion first. Conclusion. Last time I talked about a dip. I suggest buying the dip, right? And you know what? At the end of February, we see a war, bracket war against Iran. And I can see that my suggestion of a dip is enlarged or delayed by the war. Okay. But at the same time, I can see a lot of panic, a lot of fear in the market, particularly the US stock market. Our concerns about the war, or again, I use the bracket, I use the quotation mark, war. I will tell you why I use the quotation mark, because I'm not very agree to this term war, okay? And I can give you very firm, my opinion is that the war is ending, okay? The Iran war, if it is in fact ending, I will tell you more about this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, US stocks are still the game in time. I will repeat this phrase again. If you short US stocks, it means you short the US as a country. Okay, don't do this. I tell you why. Okay, and within US stocks, we are still very keen, we are still very focused on AI stocks. Don't worry, I will talk about these stocks in the coming 30 minutes. And gold, okay, gold, very violent. I know that. And I will tell you if this precious metal has peaked or not. Okay, so let's go. Now, first of all, what's happening in the market is see the S&P 500 US stocks, major index, okay, has gone down. Well, in fact, from the record high 7,000 up to now, it is around 10% down. Okay, when Sri of Phillip Nova mentioned in the introduction that we see the highest level, all-time high level of those U.S. stock index, S&P 500, Dow Jones Industrial. In fact, you know what? Record high just happened. Well, two months ago, within this year in January. Okay, so we are now down around 10%. Okay, but don't worry. Okay, another point in the market is causing the panic is oil. Okay, U.S. crude oil futures nearly $120 a barrel just a few days ago, right? But you know, yesterday, this one, this black candle, okay, down candle, 10% down within one day. What is happening? I tell you, and it is very closely related to our view on the stock market. Okay, very interesting, right? Okay, let's start. The things that enlarge or delay our dip in the stock market is this one, is the war. Sorry, I use the term again. U.S. and Israel, Iran war, okay, against Iran. In fact, I don't like the term war. I like to use the term beating. Okay, we are seeing a guy, or maybe I can say a bad guy, being beaten. Okay, okay, being okay, pushed to justice, something like this. Okay, and the oil price was boosted mainly because this Strait of Hormuz controlled, apparently controlled by Iran. In fact, it is not. I can tell you. Well, this little opening in the Gulf is controlled by Iran, and any ship passing through it suffer the possibility of being attacked. Okay, so we see oil price jump in the last few days. But how about that? Well, we see three leaders of the war, and one so-called supreme leader is gone. Okay, it's gone. And you know what? Many people, many investors around me, okay, just tell me that well, the situation is like 1973, well, over half a century ago, when the Middle East was in trouble. The oil price jumped sevenfold, okay, and the U.S. economy suffer, and world economy suffer, and this time we are the same, right? I don't agree. Okay, I disagree. Look at this now. At that time, 1973, the oil crisis, okay, energy crisis. Uh, we depend on the Middle East for oil energy, but now look at this. U.S. produce more oil than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined crude oil production. Okay, the U.S. is the biggest producer, oil producer, and the next one you can see that, well, the USA is also the biggest gas producer in the world. Okay, so do you think that the U.S. economy will be damaged in high oil price amid the higher gas price? Well, you know, the US will say, well, we are the biggest producer oil, gas. The higher the price, the better, right? So it is not a threat to the US, okay? And in fact, what the US is doing in the Middle East, Iran, first of all, do you remember in the very first of the year, January, US took away this president of Venezuela, Maduro. Okay, on what charge? On charge of drug trafficking or something like this. Okay, so in fact, the U.S. is aiming to clear its backyard. Okay, we are not going to see it. I mean, the U.S. will not allow anyone in the world, in the Middle East, to threaten other countries with nuclear weapons. Never. Okay. However, our friend Iran likes doing that. Okay, shining off, or they say they are going to have a nuclear weapon, and that's why we are seeing the beating of Iran at the moment. Okay. Talking about the U.S. Beating Iran, we are seeing a lot of weapons, new weapons on the battlefield. You can see this statistics is from the military, 50,000 soldiers around there. But you know what? As far as I know, U.S. and Israel may send some ground troop to Iran. Okay, Okay, and a lot of people just like telling me the 1973 oil crisis also tell me that if they send ground troops to Iran, the situation will be like the Vietnam War. Okay, and the US will suffer a lot. Okay, I say hold on, hold on. Okay, now we also have a 200 fighter jets, including the very new fighter jet called F-35. All right, we have 2 aircraft carriers. We have all kind of bombers. Okay, deployed to Iran. Let me tell you. Let me ask you one question. What weapons does Iran have to counter all this? Anything? I don't think so. Nothing. Okay. So it is well. In fact, when the action, when this campaign start at the end of February, should be February 28th. Okay. I think for the first 1 or 2 days, the so-called war was finished. To me, finished. I worry nothing about is influence or effect affect to the economy. Okay, and also, you know what? At the same time, we do not have this. We did not have this in Vietnam War, and we did not have this in World War II. What is that? AI. Okay. Now the U.S. forces, they are using AI to to do the military campaign in Iran. Okay. Let me ask you one more question. How many casualties of U.S. military in the current war in Iran? Okay. I can say maybe 6 crew member of a jet of a airplane, military airplane crash. They unfortunately die. Okay, and I can say the casualty is minimal. Okay, and you did not see that this no casualty in Vietnam War, and you did not see this kind of no casualty in World War II. Why? AI. Okay, AI. Okay. So, talking about AI, you know what? Palantir is the biggest AI contractor to the Pentagon, to the Department of Defense. Oh, no, they have changed the name to Department of War in the US. I will talk about this company later. Don't worry. I can say this is also a good stock you have to watch. Okay. Okay. Now, have I relieved some of your fear about the war, or are you still panicked about the war effect? My meaning is the U.S. has very mighty weapons and technology. Well, technology decide who the winner is. Okay, clearly the winner is the US. Okay, and you know what? Apart from winning on the battlefield, it seems that our good old friend President Donald Trump is also winning in the financial market. Why do I say this? Well, last Saturday, okay, Trump said it will bomb the power plants of Iran if it did not fully open the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, 48 hours with along after the market. Okay, after the market, he said this, and all along the weekend, I could see my friends, investors, my clients, they are all panicked. What to do? What should I do? What should I do? I cannot control my account during the weekend. Okay, now, and just yesterday, before the U.S. market opened, okay, and our friend Donald Trump say very good productive conservation with Iran. Okay, they are going to scale down, or they are going to finding a solution, or in his word, he's going to make a deal with Iran. Okay, you can see it is all under control by President Trump. Okay, what happened in the market then? Okay, we can see oil plummet 10% yesterday. At the same time, U.S. stocks future, okay, yesterday pre-opening jump, okay, jump from negative 2 to 3% to positive 2%, something like this. Okay, it is a very well. You know what? We have been in the market. We have been participating in the market for so long time. There is a saying that we do not mess up with in the market. We do not mess up with the very powerful government administration like the U.S. now. Okay, and does this help to alleviate your concern or panic about the market? Well, what I want to point out is that the U.S. is clearly the winner of the current campaign in the Middle East. Okay, and we should not panic. Okay, we should not panic. It is in fully control. I mean the U.S. Okay, and something you don't have to control. You don't have to panic about is the interest rate. This gentleman called Kevin Walsh is appointed by our President Donald Trump. Okay, Donald Trump said, if this gentleman mention increase interest rate or hiking interest rate in an interview, this gentleman will not get the job of the Fed chair. Okay, this Kevin Walsh will be in position Federal Reserve chair in May, and I am quite sure that he will cut interest rates going forward. Okay, cutting interest rate going forward, which is very good for the stock market. All right, and our good old friend also global liquidity, that is the M2 money supply of the major global central banks. It is still on a very high, very elevated level. Okay, it is around 100 trillion US dollar, and we brought the US stock index S&P 500 against this M2 supply, or we say liquidity, global liquidity. It is still in proportion. Okay, higher liquidity, we should see higher index, stock index. Okay, of course, in times we have some deviation, but most of the time we will come back up, rebound. All right. So this is my observation of the market. And one more time, I will say, don't panic, please. Okay, don't short the U.S. market, because if you short the U.S. market, it means you are shorting the U.S. as a whole country, which I won't do. I just say okay. Now we go back to the stock market index. Okay, we see S&P 500 on the downside, because the technical configuration has changed. I have to turn my short-term view to bearish at the moment. At the same time, I keep a key resistance level at 6,800. Okay, see if we turn up to this level, okay, we will turn bullish again. Okay, at the moment we play defensive, or we buy a little bit on the dip. All right. And this is the stock. This is the technology stock, Nasdaq 100, also on the downside. In fact, you can see that all the major stock index, they have been down around 10% from their recent high. Okay. In fact, this Nasdaq 100 is record high was back in last October. Okay, 26,000 around. All right. How about the Dow Jones? Dow Jones also, it is down from its record high. Well, in fact, the Dow Jones DJI is record high. Well, was marked in February last month. Not long ago, ladies and gentlemen, not long ago, 50,500. Okay, and since then it has been down for around 10% also. Our current key resistance is here, 48,000. Okay, and let's see. Remember, record high is not so far ago. Okay, and also we mentioned that in our introduction that maybe we could look at also the some small cap stock. Okay, we are talking about in early part of the year we were talking about rotation, stock rotation. It means that some investor may jump from technology stocks and get into small cap stock like this Russell 2000. But listen, as I have seen so many bargains recently in the bigger tech stocks, AI stocks, I would rather look at those stocks rather than the small cap one. Okay, so anyway, this Russell 2000 is record high around 2,735 at the start of the year. Okay, and going forward, I will say I will lead you to a bigger stock. Okay, because of their recent discount. Okay, and well, crude oil. One sector of stock for the past for this quarter, the first quarter, have been performing well. Yes, it is all related to crude oil. It is the energy sector. You see, for year to date, for the start of the year 2026, it has been on the rise, and I do not see. Well, this is a big oil stock, Chevron CVX. In fact, honestly, I do not see any change in trend at the moment. It means the uptrend is still holding. Okay, I remain bullish on this one. Okay, ExxonMobil. Okay, we have a little bit consolidation and then up again. And but if you are into oil stocks, energy stocks, you run into chances like the plank Donald Trump makes on you, just like the one yesterday. Okay, so you have to be careful. Okay, now this is the main part. This starts the main part of my presentation today. AI stocks. Okay, we have entered the era of AI, and as the current event in the Middle East, the war, the military actions against Iran, it makes a lot of AI stocks, big AI stocks cheaper, and we should turn our focus to see if we can get some bargains from these AI stocks. Okay, now within AI stocks, there is one I can say, one stock that you have to focus. I can say focus. If you don't like all other stocks, that's okay. Don't like the stocks that I'm discussing today, that's okay. But this one stock, I hope you can spend some time studying it. That is Google, Alphabet. Why? To me, it is an all-round AI stock that is available and available at a discount. it marked a record high at the start of February, 349, now 300. And why I say Google, Alphabet is the representative or the best AI stock we can have. Well, it has a very big client basis. the Google search engine. Hey, let me ask you, apart from Google, the search engine, what is the next biggest search engine on the internet? Can you tell me? Yes, YouTube. And YouTube belongs to Google. Okay. At the same time, have you heard about Germany? Germany Free Pro, something like this. And it is very powerful, I can say. And have you heard about the TPU? Not GPU, graphic processing unit. TPU. Alphabet is developing its own chips, TPU. Okay, now you can see it has all front. It is involved in all front around the internet and the AI. And I, 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 I can't say, I can't tell you why I am not focusing on this one. Okay, and also I advise you to also look closely into this one. Okay, Google. Okay, we get into another one. Tesla. Tesla, we got a record high at the end of last year, and since then it is on the way back down. Okay, following other tech stocks. Okay, Apple also on the way down, and a record high 288. Okay, but Apple is quite interesting. I found that it sometimes is so resilient. It is more resilient than other big tech stocks. So we can also have a look at this one. And Microsoft quite disappointing. Okay, its record high is $555 back last year, August. Okay, what is Microsoft? Microsoft is a software maker. Okay, of course, it is also involved greatly in AI. It is a stakeholder of the open AI. Okay, the Chat GPT maker. Okay, but its share price performance is very bad recently. Well, in fact, you know what? Although I say that Microsoft belongs to the software sector, we are seeing the software sector making a rebound recently. Okay, I will talk about that later. And Meta, okay, Facebook, and compared to other big tech stocks, Meta's performance, just like Microsoft, quite disappointing. So just have a look, and I will set the key resistance here, 675. We have better stocks to bet on. Okay, Nvidia. Now, Nvidia, AI infrastructure stock. Okay, and this one also belongs to the semiconductor sector. It is the big brother. I think it is the biggest stock, biggest cap stock in the world, around four high end of 4 trillion market cap, $4 trillion, or close to 5 trillion US dollars market cap. And well, we can see that a very key resistance at 193 area like this. Okay, but the downside, you can see it tests the downside several times. Okay, and also recently. And I'm not very pessimistic on this one. Okay, compared to Meta, compared to Microsoft, I think Nvidia, the whole semiconductor sector is rebounding also. But anyway, we keep the key resistance here, and once it surpasses this level, we will be turning bullish immediately. All right. Okay, let's see if the immediate support, it will touch the immediate support at 165. I think it is quite resilient, this stock. Okay. Okay, talking about semiconductor, I will introduce some more, one or two more on semiconductor. This is AMD. Yeah, advanced micro device. You can see it formed a record high 267, 2 times. Okay, almost 2 times. And just like NVIDIA, uh, I think NVIDIA is more resilient than this one. Okay, let's see the 220 key resistance would be broken. Okay, if it is broken, again, I will be bullish on this semiconductor stock. You know what? Anything related to AI, when it is rebounding, the rebound should be very strong. Why? Because institutional investor are looking very closely at this stock sector. I mean the semiconductor sector. Okay. Broadcom, okay, also a very big semiconductor stock. Okay. Key resistance at 55. Okay. Well, in fact, its record high was at the end of last year. Okay, and you can see Nvidia, AMD, Broadcom, semiconductor stock. They are under pressure recently, but I believe. Let's see. If they rebound, they will rebound very strongly. All right. Have you heard about Intel? Now, Intel seems to be holding up well. Now, Intel, there is one characteristic or one feature that Intel has. That is, Intel is producing its chips in the US. Okay, in the US, and not in Taiwan like most other chip makers do. Okay, so if there is geopolitical circling concerning Taiwan, Intel will benefit, and that is why we see it is holding up quite well to it is holding up well relatively better than other chip stocks. Okay, this is Intel. Hey, now I can tell you one of our stars is Micron, and last year it was up 240%, and this year to date, 48% already. What's happening? Do you know? Let me ask you one question. Do you know what Micron makes? It makes HBM, high bandwidth memory. Okay, it make memory chips. It turns out that we are okay producing enough GPU, CPU, okay, for those chips that computing. We are okay on supplying that. However, we are seeing a shortage of memory chips. That is, we can ask the computer to compute, no problem. But if you want the computer to memorize something, we do not have enough related chips. Okay, this is the market condition right now. And the shortage is still on. Okay, we still have the shortage of memory chips. That's why we are seeing Micron performing so well last year and also so far this year. Of course, now it is doing a little bit consolidation, but it's still a very hot, popular stock recently. This is the reason why. Okay, talking about data storage, have you heard about this one? SanDisk. You take out your digital camera, most probably you will get a chips, very small chips, memory chips, saying that it is a 36 gigabyte, something like this. Most probably it is made by SanDisk. Okay, SanDisk was only listed last year. Okay, and this year it is up this amount, almost 20%. Okay, its record high was made just 1 or 2 days ago, maybe last week. Okay, so data storage stock. Okay, including Micron, including SanDisk. I have two more for you. Western Digital, WDC. Last year, 282. So far this year, 70% already. Okay, just like SanDisk, WDC is record high was made just a few days ago. Okay. So as the shortage of those related equipment, the memory chips persists, we will see a higher price of this kind of stocks. And also Seagate, okay, hard disk, right? Last year, over 200%. This year, around 50%. Okay, I repeat, we have a Micron, we have SanDisk, we have WDC Western Digital, and also we have Seagate for all these data storage stocks that you can have a look. Okay. Hey, this one is very interesting. I mentioned this at the first part of my seminar, on my webinar. Palantir, and what does Palantir do? Well, in fact, it gather all the data, okay, data from your company or from the battlefield, and then it will use AI to analyze, and most importantly, it will give you what solution, action, recommendations. Okay, that's why the Department of War has this company is the biggest AI contractor for the U.S. Department of War. Okay, it is very it performed very good 2 years ago. Also last year, okay, 2 years, 2024, 300%. Last year, over 100%. Year to date, down 9%, but rebounding. Okay, so Microsoft belongs to the software sector, and sometimes we also rank Palantir also in the software sector, and we can see that this software sector component is doing also quite well. Okay, maybe the war. Okay, the war and all this kind. Well, you know what? In Iran, it is just a kind of demonstration, a plotted demonstration for the weaponry makers, and also one of the weapon is AI. Okay, one of the products is Palantir's AI product. Well, do you see that? Do you think that other countries seeing the U.S. Capability in the current war in Iran, do you think that other countries will also contract Palantir to supply some AI battlefield military solution? I think so. Okay, so have a look at this stock. Record high was above $200, and current price is around 160. Okay, I believe it will at least it will go back to its record high. Okay, let's see. Now, just like Microsoft, this Oracle was quite disappointing also. Okay, record high at 345. Now, down more than 50%. All right. So you see, within the software sector, we have Microsoft and Oracle. Not very good, but the Palantir, you can have a look. Okay. Okay. Now, I recommend I discussed some other stocks last time, which I think is quite volatile, and but I hope you can also keep observing them, even if you don't want to trade them. Have a look at them, and you will see a perspective of the whole other markets, just like the Bitcoin, the crypto market. Let's talk about the Bitcoin. Now, this is a cipher mining CIFR. it mine Bitcoin. At the same time, it operates what? Data center. Data center stock. Data centers for what? For what? For AI. For AI operation, for AI system, for AI model training. Okay. So you can see that this stock Cipher mining, just have a look. Okay. It is holding up, and it is forming a recent bottom, in my opinion. Okay. Another one similar to the Cipher, also data center operator. Also, it mines Bitcoin. It is the IREN, IREN, record high last November, $76, now 42. So if you do not have a strong heart, just have a look. Don't trade it. Okay. But as I said, you try to see if this kind of market, data center, Bitcoin mining, is a little bit bottoming at the moment. Okay. I have well, in my opinion, it is forming a bottom. And speaking about Bitcoin, there's another one, another stock that is very famous alongside Bitcoin. There is a strategy. It is holding over 600,000 Bitcoins. Okay, record high. Well, well, over a year ago. Okay, over 500. But now 135, 38. Okay, is a bottom forming? Okay, is a bottom forming? Let's see. Okay, let's see. You know what? If the market, I mean the US stock market, is rebounding, okay, other risk asset, just like Bitcoin, will also rebound alongside with it. This is our experience. So just have a look. All right. Okay. Hey, one more stock. Have you heard about this one? Why do I point this out? Because if you check the year-to-date performance, of S&P 500, the top 10 year-to-date performer. Okay, you can I list it out for you: Micron, Sandisk, Western Digital, and then what? Seagate. They perform well. They are within the top 10. Okay, so far this year, 3 months. Okay, and within the top 10, you can find one that is not very tech stock. That is Madonna. Madonna. Okay, Madonna. Okay, 74% year to date. Is it good? I think so. And what make this stock perform so well? Okay, well, it is using AI, also AI, right, to make its next generation cancer drugs. And if you are also keen on knowing about medicine or healthcare stocks, this one you should look at. Okay, the performance is not bad. As you can see, the 20-day moving average, 50-day moving average, they are well positioned. Okay, of course, recently we see some consolidation, but this one is one of the leading S&P 500 stocks. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now we go into forex. Okay. Now dollar index, you see up recently, along with the Iran war or the military actions in the Middle East, we see US dollar strengthening, and there is always a level that you will not miss. It is the 100 mark. Okay, the 100 mark for dollar index is very important, and it will not deviate by very far from this level, according to my experience. So you can see that it is now dipping back below 100, and as more and more investors realize that the war in Iran has already ended. Okay, our big boss, US, is in control, the US dollar will not be very strong. Okay, it will dip further down below 100. Okay, this is our view on forex. And which is, if it is down, US dollars down. But remember, US is a very powerful country. You are not going to see US dollar down like the Argentina peso, right? It is down, but it will be down just a little bit. Okay, so if you are seeing US dollar down, the US market, stock market will be benefiting. Okay, will be up. All right. So in all those forex pair, I will ask you to have a look at also the dollar yen pair. This lady, well, maybe you are more familiar than I am, is Takaichi, a new prime minister, not new. She has won a landslide election back in February. Okay, look at her. Okay, and what does it mean? Also, she is a very close friend of our good old friend Donald Trump. Okay, so you can see the U.S. and Japan, they are very close together, and which I see, which I like to see regarding our safety in APEC. Okay, so what does it mean? What does Takashi's landslide winning in the Congress? Okay, it means that she will implement her stimulus, easing, quantitative easing policy. Okay, she have promised a lot, cut tax, giving more allowance. It all require what? Money, cash. So although I will say the US dollar will be dipping lower, but there is another currency that will be dipping more than the US dollar. That is the Japanese yen. Okay, because they are going to, well, print a lot of money also. But it is quite tricky to trade the US yen, US dollar against the Japanese yen. The mighty level is the 160. Is the 160. It has this pair has crossed about this level several times, but could not hold it. Okay, so I'm watching also at it very closely, because there are times when the market will fear that the Japanese government will intervene in the forex market once this pair cross about 160. So this level seems to be a very closely watched one. Okay, and let's see. But you can see it is up quite nicely recently. All right, standing with support at the 20-day moving average. Okay, so the next one, euro. Well, we have seen recently the US dollar is rebounding, but as I said, we do not expect the US dollar to be very far away from its 100 point. The US dollar index will be very far up from the 100 point. So I think the euro could have some way up to go. Okay, of course we currently we keep a key resistance at this level. Okay, 1.181. This is our view on the forex market. A little bit tricky. Okay, but it is very interesting when you see what happened in the US, what happened in Japan. All right, last, I know you are very interested in this one, the gold. Okay, the gold, we after we hit around 5,600, okay, in January, it consolidate and try to break out again, but fail. And you know what? We are quite disappointed by the action of gold price, and we are seeing the conflict in Middle East, in the Middle East, the war against Iran, but still gold coming down. Okay, and we just question, we just have the question: Can we keep saying that gold is a safe haven asset? Okay, I don't think so. I don't think so. Hey, one point I want to point out is that in times of sell off in the market, a market in general, for example, a sell off in the U.S. stock market, sell off in the oil market. You know what? Some investor, they will sell things that is liquid, to get more cash, to hold other asset. Okay, and you know what? Gold is also a very liquid asset. Okay, so in time of strength, some investor will sell gold to get cash, and this is one point that you and me and we have to take note about. Okay, I remember back in the world financial crisis in 2008. Oh, many years ago, right? Well, that was crisis, right? Uh, did you see money got into the safe haven? Gold? No, gold also fell, also plunged. Okay, why? Because people want more cash, and gold, it want more liquidity. Okay, they sell the liquid gold and get more cash at that time. And currently, the same story. Okay, let's see if gold can rebound back up to 5,000. And I'm frankly, I am quite pessimistic about this one. Okay, silver, even more volatile, right? It seems that well, it it it, it is quite um, impossible for it to go back to level above 100. Okay, do you agree? All right, we are still bearish on this one. Okay, and the recent rebound failed. Okay, the downside is waiting. Okay, so thank you very much. More or less, this is what I want to say. I discuss with you. Okay, I hope you can get some benefit from it. And okay, thank you. And any questions?
Okay, members of the audience, please take this opportunity to type in your questions in the question box. Is the icon that has a question mark on it. Click on it and send your questions there, and we'll get Ming Lam. I'll read them out for Ming Lam to address. All right, Ming Lam, maybe we give some time for the audience to type in their questions. I have one question for you. I think you addressed the first one I had. Gold is not moving like how we thought it would move traditionally. The second question I have, you have highlighted a number of technology stocks, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, yes, so many tech stocks are available for cheap now. Like, but technology evolves very quickly. Right? Are there a set of questions or maybe a criteria that we should consider as investors if a stock is a good buy for say like a period of the next 5 years?
Very good question, Sri. Thank you. Sorry. Hey, Sri, you know what? We are seeing some AI stocks getting under pressure. Why? Because the headlines say, a headline on the newspapers say that, um, we are over investing in AI. Okay, you can see that some big tech stock, some big tech company, Google, Amazon, Meta, and recently we have also Micron. They are all putting tons of money, billions. Okay, we are now up billions into the sector AI. They're developing AI. Hey, one question: Do you think this company, this big tech, they are stupid or they are foolish? they put so much money investment into the sector for investing or all kinds of hardware, data center, particularly data centers. That's why I put up some stocks for you to consider. Data center, hardware, software, blah, blah, blah. Well, they put up so many millions dollars into future investment. But you know what? I think they are smarter than I am. I mean the Google, I mean the Meta, I mean Microsoft, Amazon. They are very smart people, and I will follow them. Okay. Well, in fact, we are just at the start of the AI era. Okay. So we still have a lot of opportunities, chances to gain from these stocks going forward. So I would say I will follow this wise man, follow this wise man, and I have no doubt about that. The AI era will provide a lot of chances for us to get rich through these stocks.
All right, thank you so much, Minglam. Okay, we have a couple of
Yeah.
questions from the members of the audience. Okay, we have one from HSU. He's saying that, uh, okay, assuming a scenario where we have the Gulf states pulling out of the petrodollar, will these affect investments in AI?
What do you mean by pulling out from the petrodollar? It means
Um,
no more oil money.
okay, HSU, maybe you might want to elaborate a bit more. I'm thinking that they pull
Yeah,
out,
I know.
they
Maybe
sell their US dollar. Is that what you're saying, HSU? Maybe you let us know in the comment. Give us
I
a
know,
bit
I
more.
know. Sui,
Yeah,
maybe he's meaning that the dollar from the oil gain.
yeah,
Well,
yeah. I'm
some
thinking
Middle East
it's
country
from that
they
view.
earn a
Yeah.
windfall from the oil dollar, from the oil, and if the oil price drops, they maybe they will pull away investment in AI, and I don't think so. Also, same philosophy is that these Gulf countries, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, blah blah blah, uh, UAE, something like this, they are also wise people. They are also big investor. They will not they if this AI era, this AI film is ongoing, they will not easily get away. Okay, okay. So think about that. We do you have another film going forward for the whole humanity? I think AI is the biggest film that we should not miss. Okay, I have no doubt about that. In fact,
Ming, just to add on, HSU is saying pulling out of investments in the US. So with the current situation, if it comes down to the Gulf states pulling out of investments in the US, do you see that happening, or what could be a possible impact?
hey, come on. Pulling out money from the U.S. Um, do you know that all these Gulf countries they are urging Donald Trump, the U.S. military, to pound heavily Iran, Iran. Okay, I don't know who advised Iran because in emergency when it is under attack, it fire missiles to all its neighbors in the Gulf, and uh, it is not a very clever move. And now all these neighbors, the Saudi Arabia particularly, they asked Donald Trump to hit Iran even harder. Okay. Well, to me, I repeat, the campaign, the war on Iran has already ended, and I don't think these countries, I mean the Gulf countries, they are so dumb. They are so in panic mode. No, no, no. I don't think they're in panic mode. They know what is happening, and I maintain that the U.S. stocks are still the game in town, and well, let's see. The investment will come in. The investment will come back in very soon. very soon. Just look at the stock market reaction to Donald Trump's prank last evening. Okay, you see that. Okay.
Yeah, Ming. Okay, we have one more question. Okay, we did not really talk about China and Hong Kong today, but we covered macro in terms of stocks and forex and gold. But maybe can you briefly touch on China and Hong Kong based on
Ah,
what's happening out there, and where do you see the economy moving?
yes, very good questions. I like to talk about that. Um, Let me say this. Uh, the China's economy and is is in a trouble as all we can see. Okay, we all in our observation, the China is in the economy is having difficulty to rebound. Okay, particularly after this campaign, military campaign in the Middle East. Okay, you know what? You know what? Um, um, if the US, I think it has already. If the US has uh, get back control of the Gulf, of all the oil transportation along the Gulf, and you know what? China, China maybe not very happy to see that. China like to see Iran in control, but we are not seeing that. We are seeing the U.S. and its allies in control. So uh, it makes China very passive, and also considering all those tariff, okay, all those things on China, uh, China is having difficulty. Okay. At the same time, Hong Kong is under China right now, and we do not see a huge upside on Hong Kong economy either. Okay. Hey, if you have time, take a look. Take a look at the production at the manufacturing sectors in the Delta area in South China, and you know that the economy, in fact, is quite under pressure. So compare to U.S. stocks, Hong Kong stock, and China stock. Well, I always say we bet on the faster horse. Okay, just like horse racing, we bet on the faster horse, and no doubt, I would say the U.S. market is the faster horse.
All right. We'll take one more question before we end the day. Any other questions? We'll pick them up in our follow-up email. Liu, I saw your question about any view on private credit. Maybe you can give a little bit more context, so I can ask Ming Lam in our follow-up email, so we can address it there. Okay.
Yes.
Last question for today. Which phase are we at right now for semiconductors, Ming?
Good one. We are now, for the past 1 or 2 years, I still remember in 2022, October, November, when the Chat GPT was launched, and we have a fancy on the semiconductor stock and Nvidia up several folds, and yeah, and things like that. And but now we are back into an audit phase. We check closely. We are now going back to check closely those companies, NVIDIA, Micron Technology, okay, Intel, AMD. Okay, we are going to check their result if it match our investment expectation. But I'll give you an example. Micron just released its quarterly result about 1 week or 2 weeks ago, and the result was very excellent. Was excellent. Okay, but still we see a discount in its stock price. Okay, but but going forward, along with time, we will see which one will be will match is match investors' expectation. I think the big uh, semiconductor stock that I mentioned today, Nvidia, Micron, Intel, they are all okay. They are all okay. So this year we are going to audit closely. Okay.
All right, thank you so much, Ming Lam, for all your valuable insights.
Thank you.
All right, members of the audience, thank you for joining us today. If you have any other questions, please type them in the question box and we'll address them in our follow up email. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll look forward to seeing you in our next live webinar. And thank you for joining us today. And do look out for a follow up email, which will provide a link to this webinar video so you can catch up on the insights shared. Thank you, Ming Lam, and thank you,
Thank
Rebecca.
you. See you next time. Bye bye.
All right, see you. Bye bye.